Crypto. All the crypto news in one place.
PI data, markets are going up. What is it? 2.7%. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Inflation, way cooler than expected. Oh my God. Unbelievable. Okay, here's what I'm doing. Inflation, way cooler than expected. Completely cooler than expected. Completely cooler than expected. I'm going to jump out of my shorts for now.
I just want to show the fact that U.S. Inflation data surprised. You pointed this out to me. It was actually lower than people expected. So a better inflation print, which apparently means that the Fed could have a chance of cutting, which apparently means that markets go up, right? You know, it's hard to parse what is good and what's bad anymore. I joked earlier that, like, for crypto news, it was better when Gary Gensler would do something negative than it is when our current administration does something positive for price, apparently. So, but yeah, here we're almost at 89,000 here on Bitcoin. But like, speaking less about what's happening in the moment. I mean, yesterday we saw Bitcoin went from 87 to 90 to 86 in an hour.
How bad was it? Well, it wasn't that awful. If we take a look at the 24-hour Rector, who got liquidated, roughly $500 million. Were actually liquidated. So, I mean, these days that would have been a lot of funds back in 2022, 2023. But these days, $500 million, like, whatever, not a big deal.
Tyler D, Coinbase products announced tonight. Prediction markets, stock trading, equity, perps, and futures. Gosh darn it, Coinbase is going to bring in 20x equity perpetual swaps. You will be able to trade NVIDIA with 20x leverage on Coinbase. Not sure it's a great thing, but it's what's happening.
We got Coinbase launches custom stablecoins. Users can now issue branded stablecoins backed one by one by Coinbase custodied collateral. I ripped the video so we can watch it really quickly. I mean, this is
we're announcing that you can now create your own custom branded stablecoin with Coinbase backed by USDC.
I think it's interesting.
Coinbase custom stablecoins offer the ability to embed your brand in every transaction, rewards on balances with best-in-class economics, and a seamless issuance process managed by Coinbase.
Let's get some facts. 37% of you aren't subscribed to this channel. That's almost 4 out of 10 just freeloading the alpha. So come on, hit subscribe, and I promise to keep leveling up the show with the best guests and the juiciest insight. Go on, do it now.
So how relevant are they? Just looking at Bitcoin here, we can see that Treasury companies own about 5.4% of Bitcoin's circulating supply. And you'll also notice that Strategy owns 3.3% of Bitcoin's supply. That is massive. If these companies were to completely sell out, that would drastically shift markets.
The Bitcoin quantum leap. Quantum computing won't break Bitcoin. It will harden it. Absolutely. The network upgrades, active coins migrate, lost coins stay frozen, security goes up, supply goes down, Bitcoin grows stronger. That's exactly what is going to be happening. And if you really think that Bitcoin is going to be affected by quantum computing in a negative way, you don't understand who the Bitcoin core development team are.
So how many are there right now? Currently on Bitcoin, there is 153 treasury companies that we've been able to identify. And you'll notice it's a pretty steady upwards and to the right chart here with a drastic spike as of lately. Similarly with ETH and Solana, as we mentioned earlier, there's a lot of players in there. ETH, 25 different treasury companies, and Solana's up to 18 different treasury companies identified at this moment.
Now, let us talk about this in more detail. So, there was a report that was released that said that old wallets, dormant Bitcoin wallets, worth of $300 billion have entered in 2025 alone. So, even though you've seen a lot of buying pressure from the ETFs, from the Michael Saylors and these treasury companies, there's been such incredible amounts of Bitcoin, $300 billion, that have been entering the circulation. So this has been adding selling pressure.
And also, like, what I'd add is, blockchain and stablecoins enable like the exporting of U.S. capital markets to like the global south, right? Or to countries where there is a lack of financial safety, financial opportunity, right? Because either the local currency is, inflating at 30 to 40% a year, or there's like fiscal mismanagement or monetary policy mismanagement at the government level, or just because banks don't want to bank you because you don't make enough money for them as a customer. And so stablecoins and blockchain can really help export US capital markets and enable, hundreds of millions of people that don't have access to these types of products that Americans, we take for granted.
Now look at what's going on right now today. This doesn't look anything like either of those previous times. The market has peaked already. It peaked back here in November, I'm sorry. And yet we've ripped year on year global M2 has actually ripped since then and is going up. And we've actually set a new all-time high in aggregate M2, even though Bitcoin price is going down.
No, the Fed wants to cut interest rates. The Fed wants to cut interest rates. Or in fact, the Fed doesn't, but the Trump administration wants to cut interest rates. There's $9.2 trillion worth of treasuries that are going to have to be refinanced next year. There was about $7.5 trillion to be refinanced this year, but they extended it.
The Federal Reserve will be announcing a new Fed chair. If that is truly going to be the case, of course, we already have some consensus on who it is exactly going to be here. It is ultimately going to be spelling something very great for the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market, but we just still have to wait and see whenever this is going to be happening, because he's been stating this for a very long time already.
So this first story here. Pro-crypto Fed Governor Christopher Waller is reportedly set to interview Trump for the Fed chairmanship. Which is good. We want pro-crypto people. Why do we want pro-crypto people? Well, because people that are not pro-crypto, they don't understand the importance of crypto and Bitcoin. They don't understand how it levels the playing field out.
Now, if you go and look at here, where we are right now, it triggered basically 21 days. So we hadn't even really entered the bear market yet. We hadn't even broke down below the major moving averages yet. And already this line had gone below this threshold. And not only that, it has continued down to the lowest level that it has ever recorded in Bitcoin's history. And we're still just a month off of the all-time highs.
This is the best chart in crypto. Unfortunately, this is not how our alts look, but this is one of the best charts in crypto. And what this is telling you is that the ratio of people trading on CEXs or DEXs to CEXs is increasing enormously. That means more people are trading on chain. And the question really is is this going to continue to trend upwards? Are more people going to trade on chain or off chain?
So this is telling me that whales are stepping back in. We are starting to see whale-sized orders coming back in and buying back up. So again, this supports the idea that sellers are exhausted. When I go back to that last chart and show you that sellers are heavily that everything is heavily oversold and that sellers are heavily exhausted, this is also indicating that we are starting to see whales coming back in and buying and much less sort of retail capitulation happening.
Are driven by the business cycle. So with the business cycle currently low, we haven't had alt season. And everyone's like, I can't believe they've robbed us of alt season. It's never going to happen. There's too many tokens. We can't have nice things and all of that bullshit we hear all day. It's not. It's just the economy's stupid, because what happens is when earnings go up, when the business cycle is strong, you have more earnings and you invest those earnings further out the risk curve. It's just really basic stuff. It happens for exactly the same as small caps, exactly the same with junk bonds, credit.
The one time QT ended before was in 2019 in September. And you can see crypto fell 45%. This chart fell 45% after. But my question that I asked myself, and this is why I'm just so grounded in my macro bull thesis, the question I asked myself is, let's say we're right here and the dip has started and we're going to fall 45% a move like this.
This is a chart here, and it shows that we are the most mean reverted on the weekly Bitcoin chart since late 2022. That is about 1,090 days ago. And you can see here that's not good, but it's also can be interpreted with a bit of a positive spin, because okay, damage is done. We're very, very technically oversold. Mean reversion is extremely negative, and everything mean reverts goes back to the mean. The question is, how far more can we go down?
If you're struggling right now, the best advice I'd give you is to do less, not more. Remove everything from your chart that isn't necessary. Take fewer trades, use fewer time frames, consume less information, but better information. That's not super exciting, but it's the way to get to the goal I know most of you want to get to.
So, did you enjoy the app? Let me know in the comments.